Okay. Hello, my name is Jordan McCown. I'll be here intern for the Venango Chamber of Commerce. Who am I here with today?
Jeffrey Polley from Much Game Athletics.
Nice to meet you. I'm glad we got to have this time today.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out.
No problem. So, are you from this area originally?
I was here as a young child. My father is from Oil City, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then parents got divorced and we moved to Los Angeles, California.
Oh, wow.
So I spent a number of years in Los Angeles, which is kind of like where the birth of my love for basketball kind of came from.
Mm-hmm.
The high school that I went to in Los Angeles, Crenshaw High School, had a popular and successful high school basketball team, which I was not a part of because I was not as good as some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was in Los Angeles for a number of years. My father was still here. Came back in like the mid '80s to spend time with him, and then I've been here ever since.
Okay. So what's your favorite part about this area? Leaving and coming back?
That's an interesting question. There was a long time, Jordan, that I didn't appreciate this area because living in the city, there's always like city stuff to do.
Yeah, definitely.
There was always stuff to do. And in the city, there was no rivers and creeks and hiking trails and stuff. So now that I'm a little bit older, I think I appreciate the scenic beauty of Venango County. I live like the rivers in my backyard. So, the small town feel of what's going on here, the quietness typically is what I appreciate the most. I like being able to go to the grocery store and leave my door unlocked at home when I go to the grocery store. That didn't happen in the city.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one thing that's very important to highlight is that people think the city life is so amazing and there's so much to do there and stuff like that. But if you come here, there's just as much stuff to do here. It just looks a lot different.
It looks very different. You don't have to have all of the it's nice to be able to, go to a concert or a basketball game or a big event like that. But I think when you look at what happens around Venango County, especially like in the summertime, like First Friday was just last Friday, I believe, and like downtown Oil City was packed. What you see in downtown Franklin throughout the year is pretty awesome. So there is stuff to do. It is just different.
Yeah, I spent the day in Franklin, and I loved every minute of it. I walked down Liberty Street and got to look at all the businesses and stuff like that. It's really cool.
It is cool. And they do a good job down there, and historically have over the years of filling the park. Throughout the year, from Apple Fest in the fall, I think Blues and Barbecue is coming here shortly. They got in the summertime. Off the top of my head, can't think of what the singing series is down there in the park, but Wednesday night they got their little Taste of Talent is what it is. So they do a good job down there. Oil City's starting to catch up with Bridge Fest and First Fridays, and Steve at I think she's at the ORA, is doing a good job of trying to bring like movies to the or whatever that little park is besides like double play and stuff. Yeah, it's nice.
Really cool. So tell me a little bit about Much Game Sports. Like, how did it start and the vision behind it?
So the slogan Much Game came from Crenshaw High School. I go back and visit. And I was on a visit in 1995, and when I have the opportunity to go back to the school, I go back to the school. And the student store had shirts that had the Much Game logo, and somebody there, a coach, branded it by basically saying, whatever sport that was for, you had to have like Much Game to kind of be on the team. Yeah. Much Game. So I came back here with a half a dozen shirts that had Much Game on it. And I was wearing them when I was coaching baseball and basketball back in the mid-'90s. And at some point in the early 2000s, I had a basketball team that my son was on. He was a senior. He had just graduated. But they were playing in a summer league that I run. I still run that summer league on Monday nights today. But in just trying to get a name for that team, it was just something that I had been wearing and using for 5 or 6 years at that point. So we just called it a Much Game. And so that really was not a vision of what it is today. But I think this is kind of like metamorphosed into what I do today. So started just doing summer league teams, and I would bring graduates back to play in the summer, especially if they were going to go try to play in college.
Mm-hmm.
That changed to then me trying to just get kids out. Kids were part of a program that I would run here on Saturdays. It was a clinic that was free. And then just going out to play. We had a girls team. We called it Just Serve Hoops, and I think we called the boys team Much Game, or maybe it was vice versa. We called the girls team Much Game, and the boys team Just Serve Hoops. And at that point, I was just trying to get kids out to play.
Yeah.
That was the whole goal. Just trying to I didn't think that growing up, people did a good job of teaching me and helping me get better. So my goal was always to just try to teach kids and help them get better.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happened, and the job that I had at the time, I work as a mental health therapist. I was at a facility up in Marionville, and I didn't really have the time to have a complete program. So we just had a couple teams here and there. But as my job changed and I had more time, then that allowed me to create another team. And then that just kind of birthed, people liked what we did, and somebody would say, hey, do you got a room for like a 6th grade girls or 7th grade boys, or I got a sister that wants to play, or I got a brother that wants to play. And I do a variety of things throughout the year, and so there's coaches with kids and just do conversations. What was in 2018, 15, 16, 17, 18 as just a boys team and a girls team just birthed to where this year we have 5 boys teams and 5 girls teams that go out. They play in the spring in AAU tournaments, and I don't know that I had what is currently existing. I don't know that I had that vision. Sometimes I just say I'm just doing the will of God, Jordan.
That's good. That's all you can do. That's a beautiful thing. I try to do the same thing. So,
yeah.
So do you just do like basketball, or do you other sports on top of that?
I used to do baseball.
Okay.
I got a picture of me, several pictures of me in like Much Game T-shirts, basketball jerseys while I'm coaching baseball. Like basketball was always like my first love. And I was teaching it at the local Oil City YMCA for a long time, and then got out of the baseball thing and just started doing basketball. So it's the only thing I do now, just basketball.
Awesome. So what is like one thing you always tell kids, like that you are coaching in basketball, like how they can improve? And
the goal is just to get better.
Yeah.
And now the new slogan, for years it was just to get better. We've adopted, let's just get 1% better. Every time you're in the gym, you're not here just fooling around. Like, the goal is to get 1% better.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And then I always challenge them to let me know what they're grateful for. Because I didn't have this growing up. I played on a raggedy wooden hoop that was crooked and didn't have a net off, and I was across the street from my house in Los Angeles. And we didn't have the opportunity to get in the gym unless you were part of the team. There was playgrounds, outdoor courts, several of them at Crenshaw High School, but often that school was enclosed in a fence, and so it was often locked. You could find some courts at other places, but be appreciative that we were able to get in here. This school, when it was existing as a school, Venango Catholic, was always a blessing to what I do. And there was a gentleman here, Tom McNally, that was the athletic director and girls basketball coach at one point, that allowed me since 2011 to come into this gym and pretty much host, summer leagues, winter leagues. Now we're doing fall leagues on top of the stuff that we do with Much Game in the spring.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So from like what kids have told you and from what you've seen throughout doing all this type of stuff, what could you say is like your most positive impact you had on these children outside of just basketball, just in life in general?
I think there are parents, and I say this humbly, I think there are parents that appreciate the positive attitude and the positive approach to what we do. So it's not just me. I've got several men and a couple women who help and try to make sure that this experience is uplifting and positive, encouraging to get better. Like, we're not here trying to belittle anybody, and really I challenge all my coaches to make sure that everybody plays in games. Often if you find programs like what we do in the spring other places, I don't know that everybody is playing. I don't know that everybody is being encouraged. And sometimes when you watch other teams and coaches, you know, some players are getting a little belittled. Not being encouraged to stretch, not being allowed to make mistakes. I think that some of my parents would say that we do a good job of trying to encourage kids to get out there and play. I was helping coach a game recently where I might have been a little over the top, Jordan, doing maybe too much yelling and screaming at some 7th grade boys. And I had to send an apology to those parents the next day, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to be encouraging. And for the most part, I think we are. I think it grows the way that it has over the years, because people know I'm really just here for the kids, primary, helping them get better. That's the most important thing. Being
an athlete myself, like having that positive reinforcement from the coaching staff, it's very big. It can make all the difference in the game. So it's really good that you're doing that type of thing. Yeah,
I think most people, and I think most of the kids would say that we are trying to be encouraging, that I try to promote positivity, and you are allowed to make mistakes, and we talk about it. You're allowed to make mistakes, but you have to be able to learn from those mistakes. And let's try not to make the mistake again. At some point, we're just going to keep working to get better.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. So, like, what is one important thing that you would, like, what's something good that you would say to somebody who's looking to, like a family or kids who are looking to have, like, an athletic outlet in this area to, like, move here, set down roots, and just play sports? What is something you would say to them, to those type of people?
Like, in regards to our program or just the area in general?
Both.
I think as far as our program goes, I think the other thing that I'm most proud of, and parents will say this, and they say it kind of often, you get kids in here from Oil City, Rocky Grove, Franklin, Cranberry, Titusville, Keystone, Clarion Limestone, Karn City, Mont. There's 10 plus school districts whose kids come here to play. And kids travel, you know, and we're not the only program around, but I think that we do a good job of, I think our kids are encouraging as well. So I'm blessed to have families that are pretty positive. They're not just here to win games. They want their kids to get better, and so those kids are welcoming to the other kids that come in. When new kids come in, nobody feels kind of left out. We're inclusive. Nobody feels pushed aside. If you're not just as good as somebody else, that's going to be okay, because the goal is to just get better. And so there's a wide variety of talent. But I think in this program, parents and kids appreciate on a Sunday, you know, if we're down at North Allegheny High School, we might sit at Rita's Italian Ice, and you see these kids who have played against each other in the winter now coming together and are friends in the spring and the summer.
That's awesome.
I think in this particular area, I think the one thing that's good is that people appreciate sports. Currently, there's a push to try to get a facility built that might have multiple uses, not just basketball, maybe some soccer, maybe some volleyball, maybe some pickleball, stuff like that. I think that people want their kids to play, and you see it. You know, there's a variety of sports that are available to kids in this area, from football and baseball and basketball to softball, volleyball. You know, it's here, and you can come here and play sports, be included. If you wanted to move to a small town and you want to be in an environment where people appreciate sports, I think the Venango County area is good for that. You know, you got a BMX track up in Titusville. That might not be Venango County, but it's just on the outskirts of Venango County. There's stuff to do here. Lots of stuff to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jeff. I appreciate it.
No,
it was good talking to you,
it was
having
good
this
meeting you.
conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for reaching out.